What's up, YouTube? Paul here. Welcome back to the channel. So we had a great day across the board. NBA, MLB, really good. So got to start by saying Detroit. I was very surprised. Man, each time I've taken them is not worked out well. I don't think this may have been the first time I've cashed in on Detroit. No, not the first, but definitely feels like it. But anyhow, so again, we have some bets, similar bets on multiple platforms, different reasoning. We'll have to get into that at some point here, do a little video on this. It's like I said, I'm not here to give advice. I'm just here to kind of go over my plays, how they work out, where we get some from. With that, we'll start with, so some of the ones I look at is the cat over there, Stump the Spread, free picks, pick dogs, ape for, I guess, more so like player props. Do some, not as much. Might check some of those out. Wager Talk, Doc Sports Picks, all really good stuff. Then there's a couple of other things I look at online, and really just kind of a combination of looking at all that, and then I guess you could say my 2 cents on how things are going with the team, where they're at, who they're playing, and just kind of combine it all, and that's been it. So I'll tell you, today was kind of crazy, and if you've seen any of the past videos, one of the things I've got to do is kind of minimize the bets. I still say that, even though today was a great day across 3 different platforms. Definitely came up quite a bit, actually. Multiple units on 3 different platforms. So what we did here on Robinhood, NBA, we had the Spurs. Started out at giving up 5.5 points. Took that, I think it was last night. Today jumped on as the game was going, picked up at minus 7.5 points, minus 9.5 points, and minus 12.5 points. Now, during the game, I think all kind of prior to the end of the second quarter, I had 2 other ones. I think one was minus 19.5 points, and one other was minus 20.5. Now, those are ones that had got me in trouble when I first started some of the sports betting. Definitely when teams were dumping. Yeah, it was brutal. Some tough lessons. So I still kind of stay away from those now, but today with the way the Spurs were playing, I did jump into those. And with Robinhood, I don't know, I'm more familiar with that platform, but you can see it moving in percentages and cents, like in real time, versus what I've seen like on DraftKings. A little different. You have the number there. So if you want to get out early, I could be wrong, but it seems like on the other ones, the options, just the way they staggered it, it's just a little different. Robinhood to me seems a little easier. So like in this case with the Spurs, where at one point I had multiple lineups, I'll try to show a shot in here. What I did is once they come up a little bit, I get out of them. Again, part of this is myself working on, I guess I need to work more on restraint, but rather than having all these lines and trying to write them out till the end of the game, which today they all would have worked. But based on past history, I've had better luck at a certain point, especially with certain teams. Once you get above a certain range, when they're in the green, take a few bucks and bounce out. And that's what I did with I think it's minus 22.5, minus 20.5, and minus 19.5 maybe. Those were the ones, once they're in the positive for a little bit, take what I can and get out. The 12.5, the 9.5, I was watching just to make sure, and we hit a certain point where it was pretty safe to just let those ride out. So we did that. Again, Spurs minus 12.5, minus 9.5, minus 7.5, minus 5.5. And then we started with the over 227.5 points. As the game went, and that line moved, we jumped into the under 254.5 and cashed both those as well. So just in the Spurs alone, that was really good. Now on Robinhood with Detroit and Cleveland, I just stuck to over 210.5 and just got there, if I remember right. Now MLB, a little different scenario here. So we went with the winners, the ones we cashed were St. Louis, Chicago Cubs, straight across the board. And then I think it was about mid-game, we took them at -2.5 runs. New York, we had straight across and -1.5 runs. The San Francisco A's game, we took under 7.5 runs. The LA Dodgers, we took a -1.5. Phillies, I think we got them on straight across and -1.5, if I remember right. Got to do better about noting these things as I go versus later. Atlanta, Milwaukee, Tampa Bay, and then Colorado, and was it Houston? I think. Or no, sorry, Arizona, I think it was. Anyhow, they scored quite a few runs in the beginning. I was out of that game, and when I glanced at it, it was an under over 15.5. Through a minimal bet on that. It was about a quarter of a unit, and that held up. So that was on Robinhood. The ones we lost over there were the Mariners. Initially, we had a play on Oakland, San Francisco over 10.5. Obviously, it didn't make it because we picked up on the under 7.5, and that held. And then Atlanta giving up a 1.5. So those were the losses compared to the win. So really good board there. FanDuels. So jumped on there. We had the Spurs were already, I think when I got on there, it was like -9.5. We got that, and that made it. We had Padres and Mariners on the under, and that got there. The negative was the Frisco and the A's total score over. That didn't hit in the New York Mets. Now, I think we also had Detroit on this one as well for a small play. Then when I got on the FanDuels, they had a couple of preset deals you could buy into. It was a pretty good payout. I think it was like $10 for 50, 55, and the other was a little more. One of them was, I guess they called it no weak links. It was for the Yankees to win, Braves to win, Cubs to win, Dodgers to win. $10 there, turned out really good. And then there was another one which was for the Pistons and the Spurs to win, and that turned out good. So kind of little bonus plays there. I normally don't jump into those. The ones I've seen them do, just normally there's 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 3 or 4 that I don't feel great about, so I just avoid them. But anyhow, so we had like 4 and 2 over there. And then DraftKings, similar thing there. Spurs we had at -14.5, -8.5, -5.5 they hit. Pistons we got in early when it was +3.5. That hit. LA Dodgers -1.5. St. Louis, Chicago -1.5. New York -1.5. The Yankees. Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Tampa Bay all hit. Seattle lost, and Milwaukee -1.5 lost for us there. Now, I know you're probably wondering, well, some of these bets are the same on 3 different platforms. Again, this is kind of same thing like this channel. It's just, I guess, for fun, kind of something to track and do. I enjoy sports, but there's a few different people that we get bets from. I think I mentioned earlier, Steve Merrill at Wager Talks did his 40-day plan. So there's some of those spread out here or on one platform, where I'm just kind of keeping that separate to kind of track over the 40 days. I don't take them all. I don't just get his bets and play them. But all in all, it's not too bad. Eventually I'll go through, maybe after like 2 weeks, kind of show where it's at overall, where it's at versus what I played. And what I kind of look at with those are There's some plays, that I get from his link that I would have played, like today, the Spurs. I mean, I would have played that either way. Pistons, I probably wouldn't have played. I probably would have just stayed away. But I took that as a play from him, and then some MLB plays. So yeah, it's kind of, I'm what I'm trying to track is what plays do I pick up from him that I would not have played myself, and then kind of the record between those. Then at the end of the 40 days, kind of take what's come out of the plays I got from him that I would not have taken myself, and how that is for the cost of the package. We'll get into that in another video. But that's one of the reasons there's different platforms here. I've got some accounts on, I guess, Sleeper, Underdog, Chalkboard, Better for player props, and that's okay. That's where I kind of watched that one cat, 8, his stuff. Pretty cool, pretty entertaining. I've taken some of his stuff. Some's hit, some hasn't. I mean, it's what it is. They're putting their time and efforts in. So if something stands out, we give it a shot. But yeah, that was my night. So really good. Working on restraint. That's what I was saying earlier. Uh, Hitting all these and seeing each of the 3 platforms I play on really, bounced up pretty good. For me, it's not thinking, all right, I want to repeat that again tomorrow. I mean, obviously I wouldn't mind, but more so, we're going to look to really stabilize that, minimize it, and try to minimize, what do you call it, risk, exposure, and try to really focus in on key plays, and come up with a little different system. Basically, 1 unit plays will probably be a little more rare. Quarter unit plays will probably be more of the value bets, and then somewhere between half to 3/4 of a unit will probably be the norm on what we feel pretty good about. And 1 units, maybe, I hate to use the word lock. Lock is just, we use that a lot in pool shooting billiards. But yeah, lock, I mean, you're talking about professional sports here, and as we've seen in some of these playoff games where you got one professional or professional analytical person saying this is a dog, and then the next day they come out and they blow right through everybody. They're pros, so even different levels of pros, but it's hard to say a dog. I feel like anything can happen any given day with these teams. So lock is kind of a rough word to use. But anyways, plays that we really feel good about, that's probably where we'll throw a unit out. And then we'll probably minimize the amount of plays we're doing. That's what we're going to start working on, constraint here. So anyways, with that, let me know how you guys did this evening. Let me know what you're doing tomorrow. I'm going to get on that now, take a look at some plays for tomorrow that we're going to jump on, and go from there. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoy it. Like I say, I'm new to all this stuff, so it's a little different to me. Got my notes and things here. But with that, hope you guys did well. Hope you enjoy the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one. Be good, everybody.